So every time I've ever spectated, his name's Daniel, right? DahGuyNate. Every time I've ever spectated one of Daniel's matches, he just plays Gyarados and it kills every Pokemon. It's like by far the league leader in KO. It's something like 24 or something like that.
It's got 25 right
That's
now.
insane.
He's riding that Gyarados like a New York hooker.
Yeah,
for sure.
Slacking is second with 22. Volcanion is third with 20.
Wow. Is Laffer still up there? My boy? No, she's fallen down. But yeah, I think from what I've seen, he just gets Gyarados out. It goes crazy. He has Marowak there to make sure, like...
So you were saying that, like, Gyarados goes and Marowak is there for...
Yeah, I mean, like, the Gyarados' main problem is it's quad weak to electric, but if you've got a lightning rod mon out there, it doesn't matter too much if the other Pokemon's bringing electric coverage.
Yeah, by far, electric is like the easiest quad weakness to take care of.
Yeah, I definitely dealt with that in the week I played you, where you also have a team that's very like poor against water type teams, but you also like were able to cover it by just having Marowak. He's a really strong mon.
Yeah, yeah,
for
definitely.
covering that.
That electric weakness that I have too, yeah.
I'm interested. I was talking to Anthony before this, and I guess it's too late for. I didn't want to leak his intel, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
really
you can
matter.
leak it now.
Yeah. He is really debating on whether to bring Appleton or Surfetched as one of his mods.
So this is interesting. So Daniel was talking with me today about this matchup because I am also taking this very personally.
Because you and Anthony are the only two undefeated members left.
Yeah, I think it might have been in the commish chat, but I said, I need Daniel to go secure my throne for me today. But Daniel around noon had a little mini heart attack when he was thinking about what could be done with the Zebstrika.
Yeah, it was like he texted me like, "What about Zebstrika? I could be in trouble." And I'm like, "He's not gonna. What? Why are you worried about Zebstrika?"
So, Mr. Goose, can you give us some intel? Is Zebstrika making an appearance?
The whole time I was talking to Anthony, he never once said anything about Zebstrika. So either he thought it was so obvious.
We can see that there is no Zebstrika.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. I was like, either he was so sure he was going to bring it, he never even mentioned it, or he's not even considering it. So it looks like he wasn't even considering it.
So we see,
we do see
the clear five. Yeah, we do see the Appleton, and it felt like looking at Solas's team. He did have a very clear five that were going to come, and then that last spot was kind of up for grabs.
Yeah.
So
he said that he just didn't think Surfetch could do anything at all against this team, and even though Appleton has a horrible base speed, it's like max 90 if you run all speed EVs or something like that. He just felt like at least it might be able to do something, unlike Surfetch, which can't do anything.
So, what sort of leads are we looking from both of these guys?
I mean, Anthony almost always leads Tornadus for obvious reasons, because you got Prankster, you can get like Tailwind off, stuff like that. So I'd expect to see that, maybe the Intellion as a second lead.
Okay. That could help counter a Marowak if Marowak is out there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We also see the Pachirisu, and we saw in a game a couple weeks ago, Daniel did a good job using Pachirisu as Volt Absorb, and just, using Follow Me and just healing back up all the time. Ben, can you give us any insight? What's Daniel bringing?
Well, like we talked about before, Gyarados is the main ingredient of this team. Like, I'll be surprised if Gyarados isn't coming out first.
Yeah.
And I could
I'll be curious. Yeah, maybe a Grimmsnarl and then have Marowak in the back to bait an electric move. I mean, Tapu Koko is obviously terrifying for Daniel.
Yeah.
Gyarados
I think-
Grimmsnarl is a very, very likely lead here.
I think the tough thing about playing this position against Daniel is there's a you can switch into to like nullify moves. Like any electric move, he can switch into Pachirisu or Marowak and just totally get rid of. You always have to be thinking about that, Winter Anthony. There's like do I even have the opportunity to use an electric type move, even if he has not Marowak on the field or Pachirisu?
Yeah. Yeah, and what we were talking about before, Daniel has a pretty slow team from what we see here. So Tornadus might not even need to get Tailwind up.
That's true.
You guys ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
I'm allowed to talk in chat for the first week ever. This is huge.
You need to get your account like registered.
Yeah, I probably should.
Because I had the same thing happen to me. All right, we see the Coco and Golurk.
We don't see Tornadus.
He's got that ground next to him. I think we're probably gonna imagine a spread move is coming.
Yeah, I imagine he's just gonna go for like discharge or something like that.
Discharge or Electro Rub. Grimmsnarl has to drop out here. I really don't see a way that he can stay in unless he's bringing a fake out and gonna stop Coco that way. And we see Daniel has forgotten nicknames.
That is unfortunate. It puts Anthony at an early advantage.
I thought I trained my boy better than this.
Gosh. I think we're gonna just pack it up and head on out now.
Yet another week that Anthony is undefeated.
Trick. We see a trick. A eject button is put on to Tapu Koko.
Oh,
Dynamic Punch does not kill, but is confused and
it could kill itself
paralyzed.
Right
Grimmsnarl may never be able to move again with the paralysis and the confusion.
So if you're Solas, do you just go again? Or do you try to stay in and maybe hope for a paralysis or confusion here?
I think there's a strong possibility that Grimmsnarl could just dip and bring in Pachirisu or Marowak. Because it's not going to be doing much anymore.
I just realized that Grimmsnarl will die if it attacks. It's 10% of your health, right, for Life Orb?
It's actually, I think it's 1/6.
1/6. Okay, so even more.
Big. The confusion kills. Yeah. This is huge. Interesting. He goes for the Dazzling Gleam instead of discharge again.
Yeah, I was really shocked by that.
That discharge would have done a lot of damage.
Maybe he read a switch? I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I also would have just quick discharge again in that situation.
Something else we just noticed, Golurk used Poltergeist, so we see Gyarados has a Waken Berry.
Right.
Not
I think that's
surprising,
a pretty smart item to bring on Gyarados.
Yeah.
Luckily for Anthony, Potemkin did live the max airstream, and so got another turnout here. He is going to get outsped by Gyarados 100% in after max airstream, but Coco should still be faster if it wants to get something done.
A +1 is a big difference in speed. That Gyarados might be statted just so that it outspeeds Coco after one speed boost.
Oh, it is faster.
Oh, this is big for Daniel. And gets the Moxie. Rock Slide did damage, but Solas is now down to 2 Mon. Still has a Dynamax left.
Dang, I thought for sure that Tapu Koko would be faster enough that Gyarados would still be a little slower, but no, you're right, Ben. That is really bad for young Anthony.
So
I
I
mean,
guess
a
we're
Dynamax
assuming that.
Slowbro here could still pose a really large threat for Daniel.
Interesting. I was thinking that Inteleon was going to get Dynamaxed here. What was your thoughts to not doing that? Okay.
Inteleon really doesn't have an answer for Gyarados.
Whoa! Inteleon, the crit monster, gets crit and killed.
Do you think the crit?
That's the game.
Do you think the crit mattered?
Oh, I think the crit mattered. Only
I
a
think
plus one Gyarados.
I think it did as well, which is unfortunate. Dang, I thought maybe like Quick Claw Slowbro gets to move first there. You have a chance to kill Gyarados, but we'll never know.
Well, maybe we'll find out in this next game. Daniel obviously dominating win here. What do we think Anthony's gonna try for this next game?
Let me pull the match back up. I wonder if he'll. I mean, I thought everything was going really well at first. After Gyarados came out and got that max airstream in, that's when things started to go really poorly. So I'm trying to figure out like what you could do to stop Gyarados from setting up in that sort of situation.
Well, if he would have discharged instead of Dazzling Gleam, does he kill?
It did have the berry.
It did have the berry.
Discharge, it would have used up the berry, so it probably wouldn't have killed, and then Golurk wouldn't have been able to deal any damage with Poltergeist.
He could have dynamic punched though to get the confusion. Unless Dynamax Pokemon can't be confused. I've never actually seen that situation.
They can be confused, and they can hurt themselves in confusion.
Okay, yeah. Then I think like arguably he got the Rock Slide off on Golurk that one time. Confusion might have been even better. Like it does less damage, but you're giving a Dynamax Gyarados a chance to waste its turn, and in that sort of situation, a turn wasted on Gyarados is really huge because that Pokemon is demonic.
Yeah, I'm curious if Solas does anything to try to counteract the Grimmsnarl trick play. Pretty upsetting, you know. If he were to get off a move the next time and take Coco out, just out of the lineup, that would be rough.
Yeah, it didn't end up mattering last time, but I mean, it was just a percentage chance.
So we see an all-new lineup that Tornadus you had talked about comes.
See, this is actually the lead I thought he would go with in game one, but he threw me off with his quirky Coco Golurk lead.
So if we're imagining Daniel is doing the trick strat again, who is he going for here?
I imagine he'd probably go for Tornadus, seeing as how he one-shot the Dynamax Inteleon last time. He's probably not too worried about it.
Tornadus probably has Focus Sash, from what I've seen from Anthony. I'm not entirely sure what he'd be bringing on Inteleon. Snipe Scope, maybe?
Scope Lens, I believe.
Scope Lens. Yeah, I'm combining the two names.
Yep.
But I think if you trick Tornadus, that's never bad.
You see two big boys. And a Tailwind. Trick with the Inteleon.
And take the Scope Lens.
A Max Phantasm into the Gyarados.
That's gonna get Inteleon out of here.
Yes, it is. Wow, that could be the game right there. Why do we think he used Max Phantasm?
It lowers defense. That's really the only reason I could see.
Yeah, and you got all these special attackers.
Yeah, that's also what I noticed. The defense drop doesn't seem to be super impactful.
Oh, he brings a scary face. This is huge. Actually, if he doesn't live, never mind. Doesn't help. Gyarados seems to be munching on everything right now.
Scary Face is a crazy move to bring, but
when you can't Thunder Wave, you got to. Yeah. Pretty massive that idea.
I mean, it's an instant cancel on that tailwind, so.
Yep.
Yeah. I just I don't know what Anthony can do.
Another
I mean, he's just
miss on the hurricane.
yeah. I mean,
Boy,
like we
another
said going
Moxie.
in, that
Yeah.
Gyarados is just such a big problem, and once it gets going, it's so hard to stop. He's +2 attack, +2 speed.
Yeah. Yeah, Daniel surrounded it with effectively 3 Mon there to support Gyarados.
And they've done a great job.
Hurricane
Use the
hits this
confuse.
time. No confuse. No quick draw.
And the flinch.
Flinch!
And the flinch. Oh,
Oh,
he can't catch a Rick.
the pain.
That Slowbro doesn't pop off right now. He's in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know if it pops off right now how much help it's going to be.
I
A
get
sucker punch for the
Matter.
kill. Daniel ends with a 4-0.
It's
But
a very decisive game.
his Gyarados did not get all 4 kills, so I know he'll be disappointed.
I know. Grimmsnarl did have to sneak in and steal one at the very end.
Wow.
So we're moving on to the interview section, right?
Yeah, I guess before that happens, you guys want to talk about where these guys are at now in the seeding? We got Anthony Solas 67, who is now 5-1. He is now tied with Rami on Team Eclipse, and then Daniel, who is also now 5-1.
I'm sure you're very happy to see Anthony go down just because you're now the undisputed king of the league, Nate.
I like being on my hill.
I mean,
you know,
it's still yellow, so.
I think Ant's still in like a very good spot. Of course, 5-1 still puts him like well in the playoff picture. I think
Yes.
a one game loss won't be too sad. I think last week Ant didn't even know he was undefeated. I was like, "Oh, you nervous for your game? You're still one of the only people that hasn't lost." And he went, "Oh, I thought I had." So
Well, it's a pretty big flex from him.
yeah, so I think he'll be okay. His team's really good. He's a strong player. Gyarados just really tough to deal with. Daniel played it well. So
Yeah, I think this was definitely a playoff, preview of seeing what 2 of the top teams can bring out. It'll be interesting. We'll just keep waiting for someone to finally stop this Gyarados. Just looking at Daniel's team, there's not too many things after it that you're terrified of, but the Gyarados, everything's sitting down around there, just keeping it alive so it can kill.
honestly, I'm very impressed by the way Daniel's played this season because every single person that plays against him knows exactly what their game plan is. Like you just get in, if you kill Gyarados, you immediately win. But he somehow stopped that in all but one of his games.
Yeah. Have you seen if our players will be joining us?
Oh, should I? Let me see if I can get Ant. He might have left immediately. He was talking in the server I was talking to him in about how he has to go really fast afterward.
Oh, really? Okay.
Let's see if we can get Daniel in there. Oh, he's typing.
Hyping. Looks like we will not be having a Antknee Solas 67 interview.
Let's see if DahGuyNate's here. He is now officially the D winner.
Yeah, still waiting. This is call out to anyone. Daniel likes to make bets. Someone make a bet with him and change his name.
Listen, after I've seen the embarrassment that is Mason, I'm afraid to gamble on my name. Did Daniel leave too? Are we being ghosted by both of our...
Daniel's heartbeat. He sent me a picture of his heartbeat before the game, and he was over 100.
He's hooked up to a heart rate monitor? That's a Chad move, I'll admit it.
So I'm curious. Gyarados probably took both the KO leaderboard, probably kept that, and then probably took the KOs per battle. He was 0.17 kills per battle behind Slacking, and I think it just had 3 or 4 in both of these games.
Yeah,
I think it had 3 in both of these games.
I could see Gyarados easily taking both of those spots.
It had 2 and 3. So actually it probably did not surpass it. Marowak came in and stole a couple of Gyarados' kills.
How sad.
Yeah, honestly, just very rude by Marowak and Grimmsnarl. I'd be very disappointed if I were Daniel.
Another streak that came to an end. Daniel's Gyarados, let me say, had been on a 12 kill streak. He had ended his battle 2 weeks ago with a 4-0 from Gyarados. Last week, he got 8 kills in 2 games with Gyarados. And then he started off today with 1 kill. But then Marowak came in and stole one.
It's such a different way to play the game. Of course, this is my first season, so I'm still like getting a feel for everyone's strategies. But these teams like Kokoshe with Slacking and Daniel with Gyarados that really just have 3 supporting mons and 1 monster. It's so different than what my team is. It's like, it's fun to see how many different like strategies you can come up with, especially in a like draft format.
Yeah, the constraints of the draft format really bring that out. I believe every season we've had, a kill leader that kind of went out in front of everyone quite a bit just because of how someone built their team just to support a single mon.
Yeah, you see some like really interesting Pokemon taken early in the draft just because they're synergized well together.
Yeah, you don't have to call bad picks interesting. You can just call them bad.
Yeah, like Keldeo, really.
Yeah,
terrible Pokemon to take early.
Blows my mind.
Look, it did pretty well in like 2 games. So that's exactly what you want out of a first pick, right? To be like effective in 2 games.
It's very funny to me. Out of your 2 insane water types, Arachnid has done so much.
It's I'll say personally, we've had a few seasons where I believe Daniels has kind of taken a back seat and not really chosen a competitive team, let's say. And it's nice to see him taking this a lot more seriously at draft time and coming out with a good team and seeing what he can do with it.
I mean, looking at his team, he definitely understood what he wanted going in. Just immediately picked Grimmsnarl like a solid support Pokemon, and then you want Gyarados and spend the rest of the time getting Pokemon to help it.
Yeah, that's a big thing you have to do is find Pokemon that will like work together and flow together through a team. You don't want, a couple really fast mon and then a couple really slow mon and send all 4 of those out to a battle because that might just not work.
Right.
But yeah, I know when during the draft, speaking with Daniel, he had talked about Grimmsnarl, and it's like, okay, I have a pretty high pick. I'm just going to take Grimmsnarl because I can do whatever I want for the next pick.
That was sort of my logic taking Whimsicott too. Like if you just start with a Pokemon that's good on a bunch of teams, then you're a lot more flexible for pick 2 than if you start with like a Pokemon that's only good on like or a rain team, for example. Then you're like locked into a Drizzler around 2, and you might like lose the opportunity to get a like solid mon.
I think it's really interesting to see like Pokemon that were picked like round 6, 7, and 8 that end up being like the stars of teams.
Yeah, I think that's super fascinating too. I've seen some Pokemon that you traditionally consider bad come in and do a lot of work.
Yeah, I think it helps when, someone spends their entire week and they're like, oh, hey, the first 3 picks, that's their 3 best mon. They're going to bring those. And then, the 8th pick comes and it's like, oh, I didn't prep for this at all. And it just goes through your team. Looking at Daniel, so week 2, and I haven't checked week 1. Week 2 was the week he lost, and he had brought Gyarados Intimidate. And I think since then, Gyarados has been Moxie the entire time.
Yeah, I actually was wanting to ask Daniel about that, and here he is. Daniel, congratulations on your win.
Thanks.
Taking down the undefeated Anthony in a pretty major way, I'd say.
Yeah, that went about as expected, minus the paralysis and confusion on Grim. That's game 1.
Yeah, Grimsnarl did get very much beat up turn 1 and then killed himself. It was sad to see.
Yes, it was very tragic, but he did his job, I think.
So I'm sure you heard when you were talking in. I watched a bunch of your sets to try and prepare for commentary. You almost always take Moxie on Gyarados. Is that just because you're really focused on getting the Gyarados sweep set up and you think it's better long term than Intimidate? Or what's your logic going in for that?
Well, I've had Intimidate on it, but I've also got Intimidate on Stoutland. So I've kind of got double Intimidate. And I haven't really fought a ton of people with some physical threats, minus like Sephiroth. So Intimidate's not really seems super helpful. And then there was the risk that the Tornadus was Defiant. So that kind of just helped solidify that it was going to be another Moxie Gyarados potential sweep.
Honestly, if Ant skipped Prankster to take Defiant, that would have been a crazy move. I guess he could have done it though, because your team was a lot slower than his.
Hello?
Hello?
Yep. Still there?
Uh-oh.
Oh, that was a great interview, bud.
He's back.
I'm back. Hey, can you hear me now?
We can hear
Yep.
We could hear you before.
We can always hear you. You were jiggling a door handle around, I think.
Well, I was outside because I usually have better signal outside, but anyway. So yeah, that was kind of why I went Moxie this week.
Yeah, the Moxie strat seems to work out. Gyarados having a stab max airstream and then being able to get the Moxie, and you're just effectively getting a boost in both with a kill.
Yeah, so I've thought about running Dragon Dance, but I always talk myself out of it just because I can airstream and get a kill and get the same bonus with a kill. So
Exactly, and you're protecting yourself a little bit more with the Dynamax.
Yeah, it just makes it even harder to kill. And really, Coco was about the only thing that was going to kill Gyarados. So
yeah, I know you had prepped a lot to try to get that out there. We saw game 1 the trick getting the eject button on there, but that not end up mattering just due to Gyarados outspeeding. Did you know you were going to outspeed with a +1?
yes, I had it calced. So, but the goal was if I ejected it out, I'd smack whatever came in. And I was debating on switching last second, but he moved and didn't switch out the Coco because at the last second I thought, oh, if he switches in Tornadus, I'm going to waste my Max Quake into Tornadus. But he left it in, so it worked out.
Yep, sometimes it just comes down to that.
Your Gyarados remains a monster. We were talking about how Nate brought up how before today's matches, it'd gotten all 12 of your last kills in games.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Marowak stole a kill, broke the streak. It was sad to see. And Grimmsnarl took one with Sucker Punch at the end. So you might not have passed slacking on the kills per game leaderboard. But you're definitely staying in top for most KOs on that Mon.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you only got 5 today, so pretty disappointing day at the office.
I think I got 6, but yeah, maybe 5 or 6. Yeah, I was a little worried about the quick draw and the slow bro, so I was like, I'll just Sucker Punch it and make sure that that's not an issue.
Yeah, Sliver's taking a nap today. He did not quick draw either of the times he got a chance.
Yeah, I was very worried about that because I practice battled some, and Slowbro with Yawn really hampered Gyarados because he's flying, so he's not on the electric terrain.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I forget about that. That flying type Pokemon aren't like affected by the terrain.
Yeah, that really, really stops Gyarados if he gets put to sleep with the Yawn. So
I don't think this is like the difference between you winning or losing the match, but I thought it was very clever that you recognized that electric terrain would be out, and so instead of taking a move like Thunder Wave, you slammed Scary Face on Grimmsnarl.
well, yeah, and I can't Thunder Wave Coco either. So, I mean, because he's electric type. So I was a little concerned. Like if for some reason he brought Surfetched and First Impression me and popped my eject button before I could trick it off, I was trying to think ahead. How would I deal with the Coco if he got Grimmsnarl pushed out of the match before I could trick it? So
Would a Surfetched first impression just it would have just removed Grimmsnarl? It wouldn't do all that much damage, correct?
I don't think it would have killed because I think for some dumb reason Fairy resists Bug. So, and it's not Stab. And Grimmsnarl was actually kind of tanky anyway, but if he would have led Surfetched and Coco, I probably would have just max Airstream because I wouldn't have expected him to discharge with Surfetched next to him.
That's true.
And I would have went +1/+1, and then I'd have just killed Coco on the next turn, and we'd have went from there.
I think it's fascinating that one of the things you prepared so much for was Surfetched, because I was talking to Anthony right before the game started, and you sent that message that's like 5 minutes until you're home, and Ant said, I have 5 minutes to decide whether to bring Surfetched or Appleton. And he's told me he thinks Surfetched would be useful at all against your team.
Well, with Scrappy, he could actually deal with Marowak really easily. And like I said, the first impression, like he didn't know the eject button, but it would have really changed up the strategy a bit with the eject button and things. But yeah, I was thinking about Trick Room, but I had a plan where if I saw a Golurk, Slowbro, and another Slowmon, I was just going to ignore Trick Room and just Gyarados him to death. And I saw the Appleton, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going for Trick Room with that thing hanging around.
Yeah, Appleton's very sad base speed. No, I think you seem to have done all your prep almost perfectly, if not perfectly, and played it super well. You definitely deserve the win, the D winner for the day.
Yeah.
So looking forward, Daniel, you have a pretty tough road for the rest of the season. You have a Dig Dogger, and then Drought, and then Los Lightning, and then you finish up the season with Sesame Chicken. Should we be expecting some more Gyarados kills in all these?
I wouldn't say no to that. I've gotten into this prep mode where I just say, what can kill Gyarados? And then, okay, well, how do I stop that? And then it's like, okay, well then Gyarados just sweeps after he gets a Moxie boost. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like I'm waiting to see who can stop Gyarados. And if they don't, he's just going to keep pounding away at that leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, you went up against a Tapu Koko, which brings electric terrain, and it's an incredibly fast and strong electric mod, and you had no problem prepping your way around that. So,
yeah, the last half of my season, including this match, is a lot tougher than the first 5 matches that I had. I mean, there was a couple of tough ones in the beginning, but the last 5 are all very high caliber players and good teams. So it's going to be a tough road here, but they also have to kill a Gyarados. So
yes, they do. With multiple support mod, we were remarking about how you have a Gyarados and then there's 3 support mod around to help it.
yeah, he doesn't need anything else.
Yeah, that has definitely continued to be demonstrated week after week.
Yeah.
Would you say who do you think you're most afraid of in the rest of the season?
Well, I'm actually Surprisingly, I'm not super afraid of Dig Dogger, which I know is probably not the best thing to be saying since I fight him next, but outside of the Volcanian, he hasn't really done a whole lot with the rest of his team, so as long as I kill that thing, probably be fine. Drought's got a really nice team with that Cinderace and Electivire combo, and then he's got the Trick Room option with the Diancie with the Stab Diamond Storm that Gyarados is really not going to appreciate, so it's going to take some prep for that because it's also got Clear Body, so I can't just intimidate it down either, so
No.
that's
And
probably
you have
going
to
to be
deal
one of
with
my tougher
those
ones.
Diamond Storm boost that could just stall Gyarados out.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't just outright kill, then yeah, I'll have to deal with the boost and try to get around the defense boost that it's got. So that actually might be one of the tougher battles I got at the end here. But we'll see. I might come up with something weird and crazy.
Plenty of time to think about it.
Yep. Well, that's what we expect. Some weird and crazy ideas.
Or just Gyarados sweeping again.
Yeah.
One of the two things will happen.
Okay.
Well, congratulations this week, and we'll see you for the rest of the season.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. See ya.
Okay. Ben, Nate, do you guys have any closing thoughts?
I'll say that
Um,
Daniel's probably one of the people I'm most afraid of this season, and I'm very glad.
Have
he's on
you-
my team,
are you
so I
gonna
don't
cut
have to
this
deal with
out?
him.
are you gonna cut this out of the commentary? You know,
He knows.
you
I
don't
told
want to.
him to his face.
You know, if you're not gonna cut this out, I'm not scared of him at all. I'll trounce him. I'm not scared. I'll find a way.
I love the confidence. I'm terrified of that character. I think luckily Terrakion has like a decent chance against it in terms of like big carry potential mods, but he's got some sauce for sure.
Yeah, I think that Gyarados will come after that Whimsicott with a smile on its face.
Everyone does.
Everyone does.
It's just a happy little cotton ball dancing around, and everyone just swings into it 2 times turn 1.
Yep.
Basically coming in with a sign that says "Kick me."
Yeah, it's very sad. I love my little boy. The only person that has left it alone is Terry, and I lost to Terry. So even though Whimsicott got to stay alive, I still lost. You'll be seeing some more of him in an hour, though. He's definitely gonna be on the team.
Ooh. It's a good thing. Good thing this isn't going out for a few days.
Yeah, and I trust the gang not to leak
Who do you play?
War Thunder.
Yeah, I'll see if he.
I'm gonna go
I'll see if
message
he
him
pay.
right now.
I'll see if he pays me for information.
Yeah. Is anyone gonna expect Whimsicott to not be on the 6 I'm bringing?
Actually, War Thunder beat me like a few years ago, and I still haven't really gotten over it. So.
Dang. Old wounds run deep, I guess.
I mean, sometimes
Okay.
you just leaving your most, like leaving one of your biggest threats behind, just throws your opponent off and secures you a win.
Yeah. How'd that go
I mean-
last week?
There have been individual games where I haven't fielded it, but I think it's such a strong option that to not have it at least as part of the 6 potential mods, I just don't ever see myself doing that. We'll see though. All right. If you guys are good to go, I guess I'll get back to prepping.
All right. Well, good luck tonight.
Hey, thanks, man. That was my first time ever commentating anything. Did I do an okay job?
Yeah, you did really good.
Thanks, man. I think you guys did a great job too.